God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up, level up, level up, go. Everything, that means everything. Eyes connected to everything, and that's why I'm in everything. All eyes on me, all eyes on everything. That means everything. Eyes connected to everything.
We always have a blooper. At least once a show, it's always like a little blooper. How y'all doing this evening? Y'all
What
ready
up?
for
What
the
up?
change?
What up?
Oh,
It's ready. Listen, this has been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week, and it's only a Tuesday. Come on, bruh.
Man, the weekend itself was off the chain.
Was stupid.
Man,
was just dumb for no reason.
I'm just like, wow. I laid in bed all weekend. I couldn't move. But man, the stuff that I was researching on YouTube and
man, I will vouch for her. She was she was real random this weekend.
Like, man, the stuff that I was looking at.
She went down a rabbit hole.
But
I was about to say that rabbit hole was deep because I was right there.
Yeah, she was right there with me. We both like, whoa, yeah. I'm telling you, watching that. You know what? Before we even get started, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. This is things that people don't want to talk about. Brought to you by God Level. That would be me. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a nurse. I'm an entrepreneur. I have this podcast. I'm a sister. I'm a brother. I'm a friend. I'm an aunt. I'm a Gigi. I am everything good. John, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
John Skywalker, the Sly Talker here. Lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and I'm a father who has 5 hip-hop albums, positive, conscious, light-bringing hip-hop albums. For you guys that's tired of the garbage that's out there, that's tired of the trap, and John Skywalker, just look him up. See what he got to say.
I'm telling you, you will love it. You will love it. Ivy Tanner, you want to go ahead? Oh, I'm sorry, King Newborn. You want to go ahead and represent yourself? I'll be trying to go in order of people's arrivals. If that makes sense.
Peace. How we doing, family? This is King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And as always, I am that I am, and of service. But real quick, I just want to send a shout out to anybody that take the time out to give a hug to a loved one, a friend, or anybody in need. It's okay to pass out a hug. A lot of men out here need love, a little hug, a little hug every now and then. Every now and then, just a little hug. It don't take much, just a little hug. You don't know what he's going through. Just stop him in the track. Bring it in. Peace.
I'm sorry. I was speaking real low. Anyway, Ivy Turner, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
How can I even follow that introduction? Are you serious? Yeah, I'm for real. No, what's going on, y'all? Hey, it's your girl, Ivy, also known as Innocent of Ivy on TikTok, former broadcast journalist, former special bail of media operations. I speak about mental health, ADHD for old ass black girls like me. Also come to you from the great state of Washington. And as always, because my brain can't do nothing different, I'm going to keep it a buck. Let's go.
Yeah. AP, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Yes, I'm AP. I am a community advocate. I'm an auntie mama. I just got a new name from Ivy. She said I'll be auntying. So I'm going to be an auntie mama. I got so many of them. So many. A little old woman that live in a shoe. I got so many kids, I don't know what to do. So I'm a community advocate for the children, of course, Sisters Empowerment, and also Destinies of Hope. I have collaborated with them. Look forward to our casino night that I'm putting together. We're going to have some grown folks activities for charity. So that's coming real soon.
Get it, girl. Get it.
Out here working. Yes,
I'm
baby.
ready to
yes.
just jump into this because the title of this show is going to help me with this. What is it? Are you healing from your trauma?
Yeah. Now, before we say anything, before we go into anything further, the information provided here is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You should always consult with your physician or your qualified health provider. Usually just regarding any medical questions that you have, right? But if you also are in a crisis or you need some immediate assistance, dial 988 or 911. Mental health crisis hotline. All right. So this is for educational and add on. This is supplemental. This is not primary.
Yeah. And this is a safe place to talk about whatever you have going on. No judgment zone here. Trust me when I say we've all been through it. We have all been through it. So yes. All right. Can I tackle this? Are you healing from your trauma? Let's hold that thought. And I'm going to take you all back this weekend because I know a lot of women out there are going to feel me when I say this. After watching that video of Cassie, triggered.
Big time. I
laid there in tears. Like, why? I felt that. I understood that. I remember something like that happening to me. And I'm just like, and here it is. Triggered. Like, you have to take a moment to kind of like pull yourself back because it takes you back to that place. If it has happened to you, it takes you back to the place, the situation, the smell,
those feelings.
Ooh.
Listen, I got an attitude right now. I swear, I'm feeling a buzz in my stomach. I want to go whip somebody's ass right now. I'm not even kidding.
Right
I'm for real.
Yeah.
I try to stay in a place of healed, in a place of healing. It took me out, man. It reminded me of when I literally saw my dad drag my mom out in the middle of the street and beat her down like she was a man. Literally took me right back there.
Please.
Right back. And that, I was 6 and I'm 47 now. It took me 41. It took me right back.
Yeah.
That's major. I talked to God Level this weekend and I'm talking about I'm snapping because I've never been beat like that, but I'm a fighter. And I felt all of a sudden, I just felt that feeling that I used to feel when I'm finna go in because you're not going to do me like that. That I feel it now, like I feel this heat coming across my body because I'm like, I wish it would have been me because I would have. I'm telling you,
you would have gave him a run for his money. You would have gave him a run for his money. I think a lot of women out there would have gave him.
Yeah, he wouldn't have. But I'm not 120 pounds, and I'm not no lightweight girl or anything like that. So he wouldn't have never done me like that. And I think that he did her like that. She was such a tiny girl.
Yeah,
that really did something to me.
To rule her with one hand, holding a towel with the other hand. I'm like.
Yeah, that did something to me where I could still feel it. So, and I didn't know that I still had that in me.
I'm gonna go ahead and read it out. Interesting perspective was shared about that. Someone shared with me, not taking up for Diddy, but when a child is beaten that oftentimes it's met with, I'm beating you because I love you. It raised the question of unhealed adults who were taught that that's love. That is 100% facts.
Yeah,
literally 100% facts. I mean, and that adds to the PTSD that we don't want to talk about in the Black community because we always thought you don't say anything. You don't want to bring a Black man down. If a Black man is beating you, you're not going to call the police on that Black man.
You don't want to jump on the bandwagon.
Come on, man.
Right.
I remember that. You don't want to jump on the bandwagon. Oh Lord. I heard him clear his throat. I already know what that means. Go ahead, King Newborn.
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna, throw something in the
Peace,
air and
peace,
just say,
peace.
He's
no,
ain't
I
gonna
ain't
throw
gonna say
something in the
peace,
air.
peace, peace.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, Miss Tanner. Men go through the same thing though. As hard as it is to believe, men go through the same thing.
I can believe it.
So,
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah.
I would like to be a voice and an advocate to help our listeners, our viewers, to understand that it's not slighted. We both go through traumas. We both have triggers. We both do experience PTSD. It just depends on what side of the scale you experience being victimized or you're being the one that's causing the hurt harm. But it can go either way though. It can go either way. Either way. You have stories out here that men be feeling embarrassed to say, hey, I be getting beat at home.
That's actually facts because
yeah.
And
how would you feel?
Yeah.
We did a podcast on that one.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
we
We
did.
did. Yeah. But I'm not trying to take away from tonight.
No, you're telling the truth
just
because going straight to that, because I was going to say I've been on the end of both spectrums because I have been fought and I have fought. And sometimes I was the aggressor and the abuser and the one with the more dominant behavior or the more, I would just say the more aggressive behavior because of past relationships that I've been in. I have carried them on to other relationships where I done had some decent people, but some of the situations seem similar. And of course, what do I go to is the violence, the fight, the anger, because of previous and past relations. So you are telling the truth, and I'm standing here admitting that yes, I have been abused and I have been an abuser.
Yes.
Right, but this is about behaviors, right? This is about habits and behaviors. What's motivating these behaviors and these habits? Like, where did they come from, right? That's the main question, and that's what therapy also helps you to answer is where did this come from? Why do I act this way? Why do I think this way? Why do I think that being violent is a way of showing love? And this is really normal to me. I'm not gawking, or there's no fainting here, there's no faking it. I really believe this. And where did that come from though? Right? That conditioning. How many times did I have to hear this? Yeah, and then there's how do I respond to conflict? Because in life, we all have to learn how to respond to conflict.
Come on, man.
Conflict. Life is conflict, right? And so we're always trying to figure out how can we mitigate that conflict or reduce the effects of it? How can I leverage the conflict, right? So you're bringing something that I perceive as conflicting, and so I might learn to respond with violence because I wasn't shown another way. Right? So you have options. We always talk about decisions, right? You're a kid. You have problems with other kids. Kids have problems too with other kids.
Right.
How do you learn to resolve the conflict? Oh, he took something from me. He called me a name. She pushed me. She looked at me the wrong way. Conflicting. How do you teach those kids to deal with that? But you have traumatized parents, traumatized adults, giving advice to the kids on how to handle
and traumatizing their kids. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
We just keep passing the torch.
If they hit you, you whoop their ass. You don't let nobody hit you.
I'm gonna whoop your ass.
That used to kill me,
there
boy.
We go. Right. And then there we go. And then I was gonna say, even though down to the abuse, because we on a different level, we're all the way on the level of hitting and the violence. But I grew up where there was violent arguments. Nobody passed licks, but the arguments were so severe. Like I can just picture my mom, the anger in her. I don't know. Half the time I didn't know what they were arguing about. I can't even remember what they argued about, but I just remember the look on her face and the arguments and them going at it to the point where you think they're gonna fight. And some of the words that they're saying to each other are they might as well hit each other because some of the things that they were saying to each other were so crazy.
The aggression.
And
you just remember the aggression.
Yeah, we got to think it's a pattern. Yeah, because she was married 3 times and had a couple of boyfriends in between and during. Don't judge, but that was her own issues. But all of them, and then she was either fighting or crying. And I think I chose. I'm not gonna be the crier.
Oh wow! So it was. What options do I have? What options do I have when met with?
When you have that main woman figure, I get that. Because I can be both. I could be the aggressor and then I could be the weak woman. My grandmother was an aggressive woman. She's the one that pulled a gun out on my grandfather while laying in bed and put it to his head and told him, "You gonna quit fucking with me." My mother was the one that took everything. So
that's what I grew up with.
I bounced back and forth.
That's what I grew up with. My mother was she was the very placating, very, and it's because of her triggers. Because my grandmother was a piece of work. You know what I'm saying? So those were her triggers, and she didn't understand how to teach me how to deal with conflict either. And I didn't even realize that I had triggers. Didn't even realize that I had triggers until I started going on my recovery journey. Until I started going into therapy and doing the work. Like sometimes we don't even know what triggers necessarily are. So how can you combat something if you don't even know what it is? You don't even understand that you're feeling.
You don't even know the concept. You might have heard the word, but you don't even know the concept of a trigger. Dang. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. You're fleshing it out, right? And then we're still, mind you, we're talking about parents with PTSD, right? And these individuals are reacting to really menial situations with the utmost stress. Like we're going from 0 to 125, right? Quick. Over who left the bread open? Who left my screen door open?
Yeah. But let's
talk $2 off the dresser, right?
Let's talk about how then you become an adult, and because of the chaos that you have in your mind, that you have chosen environments, work environments. You've chosen friendship environments that are just as explosive. For somebody who was in the military, it was my complex PTSD that I didn't know that I had was exacerbated by my service, by my combat PTSD. You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually able to say that now because it's like I had an explosive home and then I had an explosive workplace. So everything was either I was fighting or fawning, but most of it was me fawning. If something got like really, really explosive, I would just shut down. And I didn't know that was my coping mechanism to deal with that. Like I didn't know, but if I see people be explosive, and that was a trigger for me, that I would just be like, nope, not going to deal with it. But that was a reaction to all of that because I didn't know it was a trigger. So yeah, PTSD it just goes far. It goes really, really far. Yeah, it permeates everything.
And also, I just want to throw out there for the audience. All right, so when it comes to triggers, right, this is after what's called priming. All right, so triggers implies that there is this phenomenon. So it's like Oliver was saying, it's the smells, it's the what you see, it's what you hear, it's the sensations that's paired with the trauma. So maybe it's all right. I got in a car accident, and during the accident, I was listening to "For the Love of You." Yeah, it's a particular song, "For the Love of You," or maybe I was listening to Kendrick Lamar. And so every time I hear that song, it takes me. That song is my trigger. For a lot of war veterans, hearing gunshots, or even Black people who are in gangs, gang affiliated, right? Gunshots. Firecrackers and gunshots are similar, very distinct, but they're similar. And just something loud and going bang can rouse up the nervous system and stimulate that hyperarousal. So when we're talking about trigger, we're talking about that thing that's just a piece of the trauma resurfacing into your consciousness and setting off the alarm, anxiety going into anger and frustration, and I'm bubbling and right. That's what a trigger
You're
is,
so
and
right
it's
about that.
crime. Yeah.
We're gonna out. So you go to gunshots and loud sounds and so on. So ever since I was a child, I've been scared of balloons, fireworks, not so much guns, because I think because I have control over that sound.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was about 2 or 3 years old, we all in the park, and my mom they yelling for me to come here, and my uncle lit a pack of firecrackers and threw them, and they landed in front of me. And do you know, still to this day, at this big grown age, that I'm scared to death. You can't even squeeze a balloon without something inside of me doing something. I remember working at Walgreens and hearing that shh sound. I can't even put air in a tire. Like I'm just getting to the point where I'm getting able to do that. I was at Walgreens one time and they were filling up the balloons. You know, I took out running and somebody started laughing and I had to explain I'm definitely afraid of balloon. I don't but when you go to the trigger and you go to, you know, something that happened to make you feel that way, that's not even as severe as hearing gunshots, but that's just on a smaller level. That's something that small and that long ago still affects me in this big adult age. 40 years.
A trigger can really be anything. A trigger can be anything. Yeah.
I get triggered by the memory of my mother every Christmas when I hear oh my God, Snoopy. It's this Christmas. And I literally have to stop because I remember it takes me back to seeing her in bed watching this show, you know, smoking her Virginia Slims, drinking her Pepsi, and I could see her laying there and I'll literally have to stop and I'll start crying. Like, damn. You know, Charlie Brown. That's
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, girl.
I already know.
After I get nervous after Halloween because I know they're going to start playing that Christmas music early and I'm going to walk into a grocery store. I have literally walked into work and walked on the floor. And in Gandhi, we worked together. She seen me and she started singing the song to me.
Oh, wow.
And I just stood there and I tears. Yes, to help me get, and I just stood there and man.
Yeah.
That's exposure therapy. If you get exposed to the stimulus, the strength of it weakens. It's you sitting with it. Yeah. It's you looking at it.
To listen to the song over and over and over and it still never loses its effect. I miss my mother. Tomorrow is her birthday.
God bless her. Yeah. I totally understand that. I lost my mom in 2009, so I get it. Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of those triggers, right? Because of that, if for some reason the smell of peach cobbler, if I haven't made it, yeah, it takes me back. I've done a lot of inner work on the loss of my mom, but that's neither here nor there. But wanted to talk about triggers, right? So because of the fact that I'm a vet, I can deal with the sound of gunshot, but if a car backfires,
really,
if a car backfires, or if somebody is setting off fireworks and it's unexpected, takes me completely out. And I literally have to wrap myself like in a blanket, like. I'm for real. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's amazing the things that just take you to a different place. Oh, and speaking of coping mechanisms, that's one of my coping mechanisms. If there's something that like attacks my nervous system, like hearing a car backfire, put a blanket over me and I rock myself. And I say over and over again, you are safe. You are safe in this space. You are safe. You are safe in this space. That's one coping mechanism. Yeah. If I'm triggered because of other things, I got other coping mechanisms, but we'll get into that later. I'm sorry. Go ahead, you guys.
What is his name? Dortez Maddock?
Or Alan.
Yeah. Yeah. Alan taught me something to bring me back, you know, like to think about like smell. What am I smelling?
Mm-hmm.
What am I seeing? What am I feeling?
Grounding. It's grounding techniques.
Move.
5 senses.
Yeah. What do I feel? And I, my hands is rubbing my legs. I can see if I'm outside, I can see the sunshine. Because when my I'm watching myself. I'm observing myself. When my depression kicks in, I start having ruminating thoughts. And then certain songs will start to trigger me. And then I'll start to lose sleep because I'm not sleeping. Or I'll get a couple hours and then jump up like it's nothing. So I'm going down that rabbit hole right now. My sister will be here Monday. My sister will be here Monday, so I'm happy about that, and she'll be here for 30 days. So I'm looking forward to that, and then she'll be gone, my daughter. So my sister will be here to help me get over this little hump. It's a little hump. It's not a big hump, but it's a little hump, and I see it, and I'm observing. I'm like, okay, I see this. So yeah,
good for you. So good for you for noticing that.
How long does it take? Because I'm just sitting here like, how do we teach this next generation? Because it's taken, it looks like all of us about 20, 30 years to realize what our children have this information, how to cope 20, with them
30 years ago.
Right. How to cope with those.
But you do have to make it palatable. You do have to make it palatable. But the way you have to, honestly, if you are not a mental health professional, and you want to pass this down, you have to put it into practice. And you're going to have to do like these miniature workshops to do it, right? And I mean, they got to be well structured because you need to be, it's just like learning another skill. So you got to set up like these little mini classrooms settings with your kids, right? Like, again, this is what me and Ivy was talking about backstage, right? With my son, just teaching him how to first recognize that he's getting angry because, in his experiences, it's I don't want to say he blacks out, but he can't focus. He's not in control. He's not aware. So it's like, all right, we have to slow this down and rewind the tape. We have to rewind the tape and do a play-by-play and say, okay, what could we have done here? And start recognizing. So it starts with awareness, right?
Yeah.
Awareness, self-awareness. Hey, let me figure out what's going on. Let me evaluate my experience at this moment. Instead of just letting the experience happen, let me really look at it, pay attention to it, and then figure out, oh, this is what's happening. What can I do? Now, what are my options? What shouldn't I do? And what should I lean into? Right. So it's the awareness, and then you can get the control.
Let me point out something too. Okay. Especially for us. I'm sorry, just let me, because it's in my brain. I'm like, yeah. So being people of the diaspora and having trauma, there is research that's being done now that says that if you grew up in a childhood that was full of trauma, you automatically have PTSD symptoms that mimic ADHD. What I mean by that, yes, ma'am. And what I mean by that is that we are known for having a dopamine deficit. Right. So all the stuff in the front of the head where we're supposed to be making sense of everything, prefrontal cortex, it's like we think mostly with our lizard brain, which means we react quicker. Yeah. How many people do you
know? All that tends to, this is your self-regulation. So
that part. So the first thing that we need to be aware of, all of us, is that in order to gain awareness, we got to get out of that fight or flight because we are still stuck thinking from the back of our brains. They call it the lizard brain. Or that's the automatic brain. The reptilian mind that absolutely takes over. Just like you were talking about, AP, where you were like, like if I was in that situation, I'm on fire. Like it's time to go, right? That's the back of the brain telling you your life is on.
Fight or flight.
So you have to find something to get you out of that state. For my kid, because she's ADHD, she has to move something in her body to get her out of it. Like I literally have to tell her, jump in a circle, do some jumping jacks. You got to jump. And she hates when I do this. And she's crying the whole time because she's mad. And all she can see is that anger. And I'm just like jumping. I keep talking to her. Where are your feet going? What are your feet doing? What are your hands doing? Remember those 5 senses? I tell her to do that and engage her senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What are your parts of your body doing? And even though she doesn't want to, because the back of her brain is like, I'm moving, and maybe I'm moving into that danger, she automatically is able to come out of that fight or flight stage. So let's talk about that. Wow. Our community, if you are in that fight or flight and you automatically want to fight, you know how you see brothers be like, right? Mm-hmm. They're doing that, but they don't know that they're actually self-soothing. So do more. Have somebody talk to you. That part
down, like
keep it going.
That part.
The pace back and forth, like okay,
right.
Okay.
Do more. Swing your arms. Punch out in the air.
Do it going. I didn't know what that was, because my shoulders. I didn't know what that was, but man,
that's it.
That's an automatic reaction, and then
automatic reaction.
Do it.
But do more. I'm talking like, when I say move, I'm talking about move. Even if it feels funky, if you can act like, if you're mad or you feel triggered or something and it causes you to want to do something, move your body, do some kicks, move your hips. I don't know, do something, but just move your body like a whole bunch. Kick your legs, do a whole bunch, and then whoever's in front of you, have them talk to you so that way you can recognize what your body is doing. It's the quickest way to get you out. I promise.
So but you understand what's going on right there. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know this is being a devil's advocate, but that's why white folks are scared of us. Because when we get mad, that's what they call us. That's why they say we're aggressors.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that this is a natural thing between all of us. But as you're saying it, and this could be dangerous. That's why I'm saying I understand and I know that I do it, but I didn't know what it was. But it could definitely be dangerous, because we've seen it so many times where they feel like that that somebody's being the aggressor because they're doing a lot of moving and so on and so forth, and not realizing they might need a class.
It's a coping mechanism. It's a natural coping mechanism. And because of the fact that nobody takes the time to get educated, not only them, but also us, we don't get educated about ourselves. And if we don't know who we are, how the hell we expect for them to know who we are?
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How do we know how to deal with if we don't know how to cope with our triggers and with our PTSD?
Right.
We expect anybody else to deal with it.
Let's dial in on this a little bit more, right? The coping mechanism. Yep. So let's understand this. A coping mechanism can be bad and it could be good. It just depends on what we talk about here. So let's just say, for example, alcohol. That's a coping mechanism. Sex is a coping mechanism. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do when I'm stressed?
Exercise.
Yeah. Meditate.
That's a good coping mechanism. Avoiding those impulse desires, like relaxing.
Right. Avoiding, isolating. So listen, coping mechanisms can be good or bad. It just depends on the effect, right? So I'm not too much in the business of judging people's coping mechanisms, but I am in the business of identifying cause and effect, intention and consequence. What do you intend to accomplish by doing or performing this ritual of yours here in the face of stress, right? So some people are like, all right, when I get stressed out, I start cussing, or when I get stressed out, I start hitting things and breaking things, right? So the question is, are you satisfied when you look back at how you behave and the consequence? Are you satisfied with that? That's your coping mechanism. Are you satisfied with it? Are you okay with it? Nah, man. I mean, but don't explain it. Don't explain why you do it. It's either you like it or you don't. It's desired or undesired, right? So then you say, all right, it's undesirable, John. I don't want this. I don't want this shit no more. All right, cool. Now we have to reprogram. So the whole, what we were just doing just then, right? Guys, you should, okay, that still requires you to be self-aware. You have to be aware that, hey, I am stressed. I'm acknowledging at this moment, I am stressed out, right? The next thing is, what should I be doing now that I'm stressed out? Because I know what I used to do, and it wants to come through, but I'm aware, I'm monitoring myself. So, okay, it's like, hey, stay right there, bro. Don't come out. I want to try something different today. You having this self-talk with yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You are reprogramming yourself. You're talking yourself through this moment. I am having a triggering experience, and I have to talk myself through this. That is what we're doing. That is healing, folks.
Yeah.
That's part of the process of healing. And so when you go to a therapist, you're trying to figure out those strategies. That's your coach.
Right.
You just came across something, Renee. What'd you just come up with? Because you just realized something.
I'm an emotional eater. I eat my emotions. I give myself permission to eat my emotions, sit in my bed, get fat and plump, and watch my TV. That's another coping mechanism. But guess what? It's not working. Because as soon as I stop doing it, I feel horrible that I took a whole week off just to do it.
Come on, man. Come on, speak on it, Ma. Come on, speak on it.
I'm just like, oh my God. It's like John said, it's not helping me get anywhere.
And it's an unhealthy in the long run because you steady putting all this bad stuff into your body and trying to generate positive energy.
You know how many times I went to Popeyes, that lemon
it's
pepper.
A short-term reward. It's a short-term reward. It's a short-term reward. It's something
then the
real
next
quick.
Week, when I finally do start to exercise, something that's more positive, my body hurt so bad. She was literally fighting with me. I said, and I couldn't be mad because I was like, I did this to myself.
Listen, let me explain something. That's our community right there. We don't. Let me speak for myself. So that way I'm not shooting any bullets out there, right? Okay. So I started to realize when I finally started going through recovery, and I talk about recovery, y'all might think I hit a bottle or something like that. No, I'm talking about emotional recovery, people, because my emotions and my lack of awareness of my emotions almost took me out, right? So when I started to go through recovery for that, like literally, I learned that emotions just are. They aren't negative or positive. They just are. But what we don't know in the Black community is that emotions inform us of what we need to do next. If I'm mad, that tells me that my boundaries have been violated. Something is triggered from how I grew up. My abandonment is coming up. There is something that is within me that needs to be moved through, and I need to make an action. If I am sad, and if that means that I need to find out what is the source of that sadness. So before, I used to emotional eat. It got me almost up to 270 pounds, y'all. And I'll be honest about that. Yes, I've lost a bunch. But
you look good, girl.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you. But I'm saying I was an emotional eater. I was a control. I wanted to control other people, other things, because I was in chaos. So I say to all of that, what I didn't know, and when I finally started going into recovery, is that if I just sit in those emotions, the sitting in the emotions is what's so uncomfortable. And we don't want to sit in our emotions because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for a reason. You grow from it. But the more that I started to sit in my emotions and do the healthier things that I did not want to do because it didn't feel familiar, that means the more that muscle started to build. That means the more that those connections to do the other thing instead of what I used to do. Yes, repetition is what rewires the brain, right? Come on, man. The more I sat in my uncomfortability, now I get triggered. It doesn't take me out for a week, 2 weeks, a month.
Right.
It takes me out for 30 minutes max. Max. And I'm still working those muscles. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm able to do the hard things and sit in the comfortability and realize that it informs me where to go. That is my go-to coping strategy, is sitting in my emotions, doing something even that I don't want to do that's healthy, and realizing that at the end of this, that is my cue to make a movement in my life somewhere, address something somewhere, and then do the hard thing. That's my. I just get passionate about it.
I'm definitely still learning mine. Drinking, smoking, sex, weed, all of that. Those were.
I'm not really.
Last year, I stopped all of that at once. So all of that is gone. But when you don't have something to rely on anymore, it becomes really hard. And I want the people out there that's listening, you need to know, like you said, you're going to be uncomfortable.
You are.
But
period.
You're going to make it. Baby. You will make it. Like, I mean, I'm talking about drinker. I wanted my Newport 100s and my strawberry Ritas. I could drink 4 of them in one night and still be good. And y'all know them. If you ever drink them, you know, no one might take you down. Yeah, so I'm talking about a serious drinker. And I just had to start, like you said, learning. You start growing and you start learning. I started reaching out to my spirituality. I started like looking within instead of trying to find all these, because what you're basically doing is those are the things that you're trying to find outside of you to fix what's really going on inside of you. It don't work. It does not work.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
Right. That's something outside of you, because we all look for some. I need a man, that's going to fix it. I need a drink, that's going to fix it. I need a hit, that's going to fix it. Right. I need a cigarette, I need a Pepsi, whatever it is that your deal is, your vice is, that ain't going to fix it. It's not going to fix it. And you could do it. I have seen people that have drank themselves to death, and guess what? They were still broken.
Come on,
you drink 30, 40 years until you got cirrhosis of the liver, trying to find something outside of you to fix what you could have already fixed a long time ago just by looking within.
Yeah. And by that time, it's too late.
Now
you're knocking on death's door. Now your skin is jaundiced, your eyes, everything is breaking down on you.
You chose the wrong repetition.
A full life.
Path to self-destruction.
Because you've been chasing everything outside of you, trying to fix what's already, man.
But let's talk about
it. You got everything you need right in here, but nobody wants to look. Nobody wants to look in the mirror because they don't want to see what's going to look back at them.
That's the thing, and that's the biggest part. Listen, for anybody who is out there listening, we see you anyway.
Right, exactly. I don't care what you think we see. We see.
Because I have to look at myself.
What you don't want to see. Yeah.
And I realized I was like, oh, people have been seeing this in me for years, and I'm the one who finally caught up. And the thing is that you got it's some of it's gonna be ugly. But the reason it's just going to be ugly. I mean, like, let's talk about combat PTSD for a second, right? Some people have PTSD because of things that were done to them, or either things that they have done in combat. And let's keep this a buck. War is ugly. War on the streets is ugly. War within yourself is ugly. You know what I'm saying? Right. And our ability to heal and to not use those coping strategies go by how much ugliness are we willing to accept? Because we see it's there anyway. Everybody else sees it anyway. It's there. Take a look, because it's still gonna be there. So you either accept it or you keep letting it kill you.
Fix it.
Yeah,
fix it. It's not going.
And it's taking a look at it, and you got to take a look at it. You have to look at it. I had somebody tell me, ex-husband, that well, if I try to fix it, it's going to hurt. I did that. Well, if I try to fix it, if I try to take a look at it, it's gonna hurt. Why would I do that? Why? I mean, it's going to be worse than I should have just left it broken in the first place. Oh. But the thing is that remember, have you guys heard of kintsugi, the Japanese art of pottery? Mm-mm. Like literally in Japan, they break, like people get broken pottery. And they put it together. They put it back together, and they do it with gold because it's beautiful. It's an art, right? It's called kintsugi. But the thing is that before it was whole, right? but it's now more expensive because it got fixed up. It got fixed back up with precious metals. What's your goal, people? Knowing that shit about yourself is that gold to build yourself back up. And now, so it's, you might be broken, but the art of yourself is piecing yourself back together with knowing the truth about yourself. I'm gonna let it go because I've been talking a whole bunch. I'm gonna go on mute.
Some people are really not ready for that. And I'm glad you said what you just said, because I just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago with my ex. And I told him, I said, you have a great representative. That representative you have is flawless. As long as that representative can make you think, feel, and see you in a certain light, they will never suspect that it is nothing more than a mask. I said, when are you going to deal with the fact that you self-sabotage every relationship you have? You have trust issues. You don't want to ever feel like a woman is in control because of what you've seen growing up in your own household. I just had this conversation. Drop the mask and deal with what's behind it. If not, you're going to continue to go in a circle. You've been chasing your tail for 3.5, almost 4 years. No accomplishments, no nothing. As a matter of fact, you're only getting worse because you just totaled your car.
Yeah, you're running, right? You're running. That's what, again, fight or flight. We're dealing with fear, right? It's that demon. We've created this demon from trauma, right? It's the boogeyman. It's a self-created boogeyman. And you keep feeding this self-created boogeyman of fear. You keep feeding it. And that's why it looks so big and you don't want to look at it. And the more you don't want to look at it, the more fear you're feeding it. And so it keeps mutating into the
the liquor.
So that's what the Indians believe.
The lack of responsibility for self.
You got the good wolf and the bad wolf.
Oh, say that.
The one
that wins, the one you feed.
That's right. The one that wins is the one that you feed the most.
Yeah.
And we do that every day. We do that constantly. Like, we do that all the time. And this is the thing. A lot of people that we meet, and we just need to be aware of this. And I'm not trying to be like Debbie Downer, but we meet a lot of representatives. We meet a lot of representatives. There are more representatives out here than there are genuine people. Like I have found my tribe. I feel like that I have a great group of people here that I don't feel like that it's what you get is what you see. What you see is what you get. You know, I feel like that. But outside of you guys, I have to learn to maneuver because I've learned about the representative. The representative only lasts about 90 days. It's kind of like a job. It only lasts about 90 days. About that 89th day, you start seeing those red flags.
He's not lying.
And you start.
That's how long
you start. And I thought that I was just saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was just saying that before because things just come to me. And then I started seeing different people and I'm like, it really does only take a small amount of time, that 90 days, and you start figuring out stuff that you should have paid attention to. And then now you got to ask yourself, why do I keep attracting these type of people? Is it my PTSD that attracts these people? Because I'm attracted to the trauma bond. I'm attracted to what I'm used to. I'm attracted to what I'm used to seeing. I'm attracted, familiarity will get you fucked up.
Me and John had this conversation.
Dysfunction.
Me and John had this conversation.
So I keep going back to it. Different face, different place, same person though inside. Same situation.
Me and John just had this conversation. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Because when it came to my ex, y'all already know I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Let's just be real. I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And John asked me one day, why do you love him? And I had to sit and think about that. Why do I love this man? I say because he feels like home.
Ooh.
But then what was home like?
Very
dysfunctional,
right?
Abusive.
That's why I said, ooh.
My father cheating on my mother constantly. You know, he wasn't responsible. You know, my mother carrying the load. And when we had this conversation, he was like, "Sounds like you need a new home, miss."
Man, that's wow.
And y'all want, that's why I love this man. That's why I love this man.
I felt that.
I remember
that wasn't even shots fired. That was some tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand what we just did there, though?
Jack up and move.
All we did was investigate. That's all we did.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just an investigation.
And ask a
look.
A brother was committed to that.
Right. So my goal this summer is to create a new home, starting with myself.
Come on, sis. Come on, sis.
You know, my daughter is leaving Monday. I got the whole summer to recreate myself. Like, man, I was attracted to that because, like you just said, it was familiar. Nothing good comes out of mental and emotional abuse, manipulation.
But here's the thing, though, right? The larger phenomenon here is that people are not even curious about their own lives, and it's right in front of them.
Because it's comfortable.
You would ask the questions. You would ask.
Right.
You would be curious.
Right.
It's comfortable.
Why is
It's
this
comfortable.
happening? Yo, what's going
It's comfortable.
on?
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
What am I doing?
And you know, Erin has been walking.
Nobody else is just
too. And I'm gonna throw something that she said to me out there. And she said, you know, I hate to say it, but your ex functions well in his dysfunction.
Can we wait? Let's take a pause in that. Let's put a pin in that, because when people are addicted to chaos, and their mask is their go-to coping mechanism for their PTSD. I will say that again. Their mask, their representative.
There you go.
That's their go-to coping strategy.
Mask, baby.
Oh,
come on,
you just
man.
touched on something, because you just said their go-to is their representative. We don't know them for real because they hide behind this person that they don't even know. It's just a person that they use.
They're hiding behind a mask and they don't even know
they really are.
It's because they have used strategy for whatever badness and whatever traumatic events that happened to them when they were come up. Think about, because any coping strategy is something that keeps you away from who you really are. Anything, any compulsion, any using people as a drug, using food as a drug, using liquor as a drug, using drugs as a drug. So that means that mask can also be a drug. So if you're using that to cope, I mean, that's like, for real, if you're using that to cope and people are addicted to that,
somebody hears
pretending
I
be
everybody to hear that. For those of us that get pulled into certain situations, I need everybody to hear that you know that they are addicted to their representative, to they have portrayed themselves to be, and that's the person that they run to likes. When they go to the person that they really are, the person that's messed up, the person that's just one big ball of confusion, and it's not working for them, then they run to this person that they have built to be such a perfect person. Because I need you to like me again. I need to pull you in again. But I can only be my representative for so long, because the real me is going to seek through and stand out and stand up and stand out. But then I only run to the representative when I need them.
Yeah,
I don't. As long as you let me do what I'm doing, as long as it's working for me to do what I'm doing to you, and you don't say nothing. But as soon as you stand up to me and tell me that you can't take it no more, back to the representative.
Listen. This is the reason why, and I don't want to speak for everybody else on this panel, but I know for damn sure, I come on here and talk, I'm a hot fucking mess. I have PTSD, mental health shit, you know what I'm saying? I've had relational issues. I've got 3 kids who are neurodivergent. I deal with my shit in real time, but I'm still an awesome person. And how do I know that I'm healing for trauma? I can be here. I don't know how many people are watching. I don't give a shit if it was 1 million. Y'all can come know me. I post all my stuff. I am really open, maybe even to my detriment, but I don't give a shit because I am going to be who I'm going to be, and people who like it, they're going to like it, or either they're going to get the fuck on. Period. And I don't care. Period. Period. Because people, I met y'all in my place of healing. Do y'all understand that? I met y'all because I finally started to take the hard looks at myself. You understand? I started to create a vibe with y'all because of the fact that I'm like, I can get past who I am and I can connect to people. And I'm real. I thank y'all for this platform. And I thank universe, God, creator, Mother Earth, all of it for connecting me back to it, back to who I'm really supposed to be. And I still got work to do. But my kitsugaree, my art, my pottery, I'm rebuilding myself with gold, and that's going to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and look at my flaws if you want to. I'm still going to be here next day.
Right. And I think we all have come together for a reason. I mean, God does everything decent and in order. You call it what you want to, but it's all done decent and in order. And we all have been connected for some reason. I don't know the rhyme. I do know the rhyme or reason because I was in not so good space, and I was in my transitional space when I agreed to be on this podcast. And this has helped me get over that hump. It has pushed me above and beyond. Right, because I was a mess before that. You know, I wasn't ready.
Freaking year, and then one day she called. You was on the phone, and we were live, and she was talking. At the end of the phone call, she was like, "You know what? I'll be on there." Like she got over that hump. I said, "That's all I needed you to do. You are very strong in who you are. You are growing." You're leaving the old Aaron behind, and you're creating this new Aaron. Hell yeah, you need to be on here. Why not?
Man. She saw it before I did. She definitely saw it before. She's known me since I was 18, 19 years old too.
Yeah.
So she knew the hot head. She knew the other,
the feisty, the fiery, the popping the sunflower things. If I get up, it's a problem.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I've known her, so we both have been able to be in each other's lives during these transitional points. So that's I mean, she definitely saw it before I did, because I didn't see it. I did not see it yet.
You were swinging your arms, you were moving your body, and she told you to jump. What are you feeling? What's in your body? She was telling you to jump. That's what real friends do.
Yeah. And
here we are. I want to thank.
How do you know? How do you know? I'm gonna just shoot you guys a list, right? I'm gonna shoot you guys a list because there's symptoms for each. That's all we're doing is identifying the symptoms. So in order to recognize the symptoms, you need a baseline. You need to recognize, hey, this is where I'm at today. Let's see where I'm going to be next year or in 4 months, okay? Set a baseline, all right? So the reduced intensity of your symptoms, that means that you're not experiencing depression and anxiety the same. You're not having the flashbacks, or maybe you're not having the thoughts intruding as much as they used to. Your mood has stabilized. You're more calm. You're more peaceful. Your relationships are a lot healthier. Right? You're more adaptable. Your problem solving ability has improved. You're more clear. You're more trusting. You're more trustworthy. You communicate a lot more clearly. Right? You're in a lot less conflict. You feel more confident about yourself. You know, you're more relaxed. You have greater insight, understanding of yourself. Definitely. You're more patient. You're more kind. You're more active. You're more socially connected. You feel connected to people. You're more productive. Your self-worth is up through the roof. If not even up through the roof, it's, table high, because it was on the floor last year, right? Your worldview has improved. You're more flexible in your worldview and how you think. And you're optimistic about the future. Because PTSD will lead you to a dark place to where you don't even see the lights anymore. You don't see your future. You don't see yourself. Right? It's dark. The lights are out. PTSD will have you.
I've been there, and I'm not going back there. I'm not going back there.
Yeah, once you start pulling yourself out and start getting to that healing point, because I've tried and slipped, but once you get over that hump, you start realizing I can't keep doing. I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah, I can't.
I refuse.
I'm not going back there. No, because
I am not doing that.
How long have I been on this road? I didn't stop the car, parked. I'll walk from here, but I'm going back the other way.
Right.
Take it like I have it. Like,
yeah, it's
it's.
But all those things that he mentioned, I want to put boundaries in there, and I think the boundaries is probably the no conflict, the better thing. Because when you start
reasonable boundaries,
when you start healing, you start, and the boundaries come natural, and you don't have no problem with it. I don't have no problem saying no.
And let me put this.
I don't have. Go ahead.
I was going to say boundaries are not used to control other people.
Right.
Boundaries are used to control you and your inner reality.
There you go.
That needs to be touched on.
Yes.
Right.
I think I read somewhere where it says your peace is your responsibility.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. And once you are in a healed place, because I don't even have to say anything. Like, I don't have to say anything anymore. Like, I used to feel like I had to say stuff, but my everything about me says, nah. She's not gonna tolerate this. It's not gonna happen. It's probably not good to ask her. You know, I pride myself in being a person that have to think twice before they ask me a question, because they know not that I'm gonna go off, but they know that they have to tread lightly when it comes to wanting or asking me anything, because they know that I have these boundaries now, that you can't just come to me and have any expectations that aren't reasonable.
Because you deal with a real one.
Hold on. Shout out to the pledge to the Black. The red, the black, the green, and dark matter awareness and positive Black images for airing our podcast in their group. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
To all the likes that we received on Facebook, all the likes on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We're really trying to start now to keep our podcast under an hour. But that with our topics is always going to be a part 2. So this is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're gonna stretch this all the way out until the summer. Next week we're gonna come back and talk about depression. So yeah, y'all ready for that one?
Really?
Yeah, I think with PTSD comes depression. I believe that.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't recognize the difference between the two. So
and it's different for everyone. Excuse me. My depression is when it starts, I stop cleaning.
I can see.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it next week. Y'all got anything y'all want to add before we close this out? All right, John, you got me.
I love y'all.
Salute.